ask you this: how does Elon set that up? How did he approach you guys?
Individually, I mean, I woke up and I got a text one day, basically, and would you like to do this? And the answer, of course, is yes. And by the way, people talk about this all the time. They want to make a big deal about, because there was an army of people after the first Twitter files who all said the same thing. Like, imagine doing PR for the richest man on earth, right? Like, that was the universal response of all the Mehdi Hassans of the world. Look, the story here is about organizations that are vastly more powerful even than the richest man on earth, right? Yes. It's about the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, the DOD, DHS, and it's an opportunity to see how these figures operate in the wild. When you get a source like that, it's not important what their motives are. What's important are what your motives are, Yeah. And my motives are I want to know what was going on, and how these organizations operate, and you would never turn down that. No real journalist would turn down that opportunity. And incidentally, I kind of like Elon Musk. I mean, he's got a sense of humor about this and I think his ideology in terms of the desire for putting this out there. I mean, who would do this? Who would spend that much money to do this?
His sense of humor is an internet sense of humor.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, he posted that meme of the pregnant man next to the photo of Bill Gates and his potbelly, and he said, in case you want to lose a boner real fast. And he put that on Twitter. I mean, imagine getting dunked on by the richest man in the world on Twitter.
But that's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, could you imagine John Jacob Astor or, one of the Guggenheims doing like a teenage joke in public? And of course not. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's the same phenomenon with Trump. It's like, I couldn't stand his politics, but if you denied that he was funny,
right,
you were lying.
Right.
Like the campaign was funny.
When he called Kim Jong-un Little Rocket Man, I mean, come on. Come on, that shit's hilarious. The guy's got great timing. I mean, he could have been a stand-up. His timing is excellent.
Yeah. If he had, you think he probably would have been good.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Probably would have said some hilarious shit. Look, if the guy can, and he's good off the cuff. It's not saying he's the best leader we've ever had. Not saying he's a great statesman or a great president or even a good representation of what America's supposed to stand for. Because he's not. And it's a real problem. It's a real problem because there's a lot of people that are conservative-minded, fiscally conservative, hardworking people. They don't like any of his antics, and they're forced to choose between someone they deeply disrespect versus someone who they also deeply disrespect. It's like, what am I doing here?
Right.
How do I go? I'm trying to figure out if I'm conservative anymore. Am I a liberal now? And you don't know because you don't want to align yourself with problematic personalities that also embody some of the economic ideas that you agree with.
Right. But his send up of the whole process, was accurate.
Yeah. The swamp.
I mean, the self seriousness of it.
Yeah.
Right. He was constantly kind of making fun of how seriously people like Hillary Clinton took themselves.
Yeah.
And there was no way it was not going to land. Like, Jeb Bush, saying my mother is the strongest person in the world, and him, saying she should be running. That stuff was just it was designed. It was never not going to work.
Right.
And the fact that none of the reporters could see it at the time was just kind of amazing.
Yeah, well, I think people were just so terrified that an asshole like that could actually win and become president. And I remember we did an End of the World podcast from the Comedy Store. We're a bunch of comics. We were like watching the election take place and talking shit while it was happening. And then afterwards, it was all over. We were like all stunned, and we went back to the comedian's bar, and I was watching Jake Tapper on TV with this like somber look in his face. Report, well, it really does look like Trump is the president. Like the whole thing was so surreal and wild that, I mean, they just did everything they could to stop that from happening, and it didn't work.
Yeah, no, I mean, and even till the end, I didn't think it was going to happen. But then Florida came in. Do you remember that moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, holy shit, this is going to happen. Like,
one of the best things is watching the compilation of the Young Turks watching the election go down, in the beginning being super confident, and then towards the end they're like, fuck! And then there's the same people that have to pretend that Biden's okay. Like, it's amazing how well this country is running while Biden is literally not there.
Oh, yeah. Completely absent. Yeah.
Out of it. It's gone.
I mean, it's Weekend at Bernie's, the whole presidency, and I love the idea that they're going to do Weekend at Bernie's too, which is great.
Now, I wanted to ask you about this because I had a conspiracy theory. I think when he announced that he was going to run again, and he said that he was going to run again, he talked about running again, then they started finding like classified files.
Absolutely. You saw last week Andrew Weissman, who was one of the lead prosecutors in the Mueller investigation, was tweeting all these things about Biden, right? So there's no question that the party and maybe some folks in certain agencies were sending him a message, I think.
Yeah.
You can't prove that, or it's not easily provable. But
it
certainly
seems so
feels
transparent.
That way. Yeah, it seems very transparent, like a lot of news stories. It seems pretty obvious what's going on. But again, that's what we need a real press for, to get to the bottom of it so that we can actually talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But clearly, yeah.